History has been a witness to the rigorous freedom struggle in India, spanning across a century. The rising tensions in Europe due to the World War were adding to the insecurities faced by the British rule in India, which had become a hotbed of anti-colonial activities. It was during the Indian freedom movement, a tiny force with 1 battalion was raised by the British Army with a magnificent parade at Neemuch on the 31st of October 1939. This force was named the Crown Representative Police.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
A decade later, during the post-independence era, the CRP was on the verge of disbandment due to its colonial influence. But the Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, envisaged its future viability and managed to retain it through conceiving the CRPF Act 1949.
To make his maximum contribution to the solution of our problems.
It was Sardar Patel who re-questioned the CRP's name as the Central Reserve Police Force. Within a span of 10 years, the force proved itself through its fearless martyrdom, rendering it as the living source of inspiration for all the police forces in India. Owing to the growing dispute over Ladakh, in 1959, the Indian government assigned CRPF with the responsibility of safeguarding the Ladakh Valley against Chinese encroachments. Only a decade old, CRPF honored this confidence by setting up 10 outposts amid spine-chilling temperatures of the valley. The 3rd Battalion of CRPF was assigned the task of securing the Indo-Tibetan border near Hot Spring. On the fateful day of 21st October, 20 men from their outposts at Hot Spring were patrolling in their area, unaware of the Chinese intentions. Without warning, the Chinese troops attacked them with automatic weapons from a hilltop. 10 brave CRPF men laid their lives. This was followed by a nationwide resentment and severe condemnation from the governments across the world. This helped the country to lay its claim over the entire area of Ladakh as its bona fide territory. To salute the indomitable courage and sacred memory of these brave men of our soil, 21st October is observed as the Police Commemoration Day every year. Yet again, 6 years hence, the force showed an inspiring courage in the warfield. This time in one of the hottest and deserted areas of the country. The hostility between India and Pakistan was ever soaring, pertaining to land occupancy issues in various areas, especially Kashmir. While the attention of the Indian Army was primarily on Jammu and Kashmir, it was little realized that Pakistan had applied to test the Indian peace resolve in a sector far down south in the run of Kutch. 4 companies of the 2nd Battalion of CRPF were deployed at the Sadar post in hot wastelands of the run. On the night of 8th April 1965, Pakistan stealthily launched Operation Desert Hawk against our border posts. A few hundred soldiers of CRPF were against a mighty army of 3,500 men of the 51st Brigade Infantry of Pakistan. Heavily outnumbered and outgunned, the small contingent of CRPF not only fought but beat back a regular army brigade and held them at bay for 12 long hours, killing their 34 soldiers till the Indian Army arrived. The whole world was amazed at this exemplary display of valor by the CRPF Jawans. Till date, this saga is a case study in warcraft for the militaries across the world.
We managed to even kill 34 of the Pakistani soldiers and officers and save this post from being overrun. This day today is celebrated in CRPF as the Valor Day.
With grit, determination and valor as its hallmarks, CRPF today is the largest paramilitary force in the world with more than 3 lakh personnel. Apart from 198 battalions, CRPF has special trained forces for various security requirements of the country. The Cobra, or the Combat Battalion for Resolute Action, is an elite force of CRPF to cater to left-wing extremism and insurgency-affected areas. Trained specifically for jungle warfare, this force can inflict the maximum damage in minimum time. The RAF, or Rapid Action Force, is a force of CRPF trained to deal with situations of riots and communal violence.
Totally specialized agency today for fighting communal problem, wherever there is a communal violence. As a matter of fact, so great is the demand for RAF that many of the state governments are willing to provide us free land and other things just to locate a RAF battalion in their state.
CRPF is the only paramilitary force in the country to have full-fledged Mahila battalions, the first of which was flagged off in 1986 by Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi.
Over the years, the force is now involved and has taken on terrorism in Jammu Kashmir, Northeast, and now latest in the Maoist areas of left-wing extremist areas in central India.
Kashmir has been a flashpoint between India and Pakistan since partition, with a major segment of CRPF deployed in Jammu and Kashmir. This conflict zone demands special attention. Grave risks loom large due to the frequent terrorist threats in the valley. Several bomb blasts and violent activities were foiled by the Jawans in Kashmir.
जम्मू कश्मीर के सोपोर में आतंकियों और सुरक्षा बलों के बीच मुठभेड़ हो रही है.
But the task becomes increasingly challenging in cases of mob attacks. The year 2010 was a dark phase in the history of Kashmir, when the peace situation got out of control. The separatists provoked the public in the name of religion and freedom. Much worse, women and children were used to take advantage of the volatile situation. CRPF posts and bunkers were frequently targeted by mobs. It was during these insurgencies and stone-pelting incidents that countless brave CRPF Jawans were grievously wounded.
हमारे CRPF के 6-7 जवान इंजर्ड हैं जो भी हॉस्पिटल शिफ्ट हो गए हैं.
But due to efforts by CRPF, militancy has slowly waned and peace has been restored in the valley. All the important locations in the city are guarded by the CRPF Jawans. The waters of the Dal Lake thank the Jawans for their perpetual presence, even in the most adverse conditions. With CRPF's efforts, Kashmir is once again witnessing an outpour of tourists. Apart from tourism and security, many civic action programs have been organized by CRPF in the valley. CRPF has held a series of free medical camps across the valley under its civic action program. People turn up in large numbers, especially women, who otherwise have no means to afford such vital medical help. The medicines are given free of cost to them. Initiatives like these have immensely helped foster ties between local people and security forces. Left-wing extremism, also known as Naxalism in India, has grown from an indigenous peasant movement to an armed rebellion. Serious threat to internal security is emerging from states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, spilling across the international borders into Nepal and Sri Lanka. To address this grave security threat, CRPF yet again has been chosen for the daunting task. CRPF has set up camps amid this dense forest. The challenge is to fight among the dense hostile forests. The enemy here sees no rules and chooses the timing of his attack. For them, the biggest shield is the forest, and their best plan of attack is ambush.
अब हमको उस पर ambush करना है। एक भी सुरक्षा बल बच के नहीं जाना चाहिए और जोर लगा के मन से लड़ना है सुरक्षा बल से। हौसला!
75 CRPF Jawans laid their lives. The brave CRPF Jawans fought until their last breath. But the damage was already done. This was a huge loss to the force, but it was the Naxalites who were to face the repercussions. Through massive search operations and intelligence inputs, the hideout of the Axis figure of the Naxals, Kishanji, was zeroed in by the force. Kishanji, alias Koteshwar Rao, was the second in command of the outfit and in charge of Naxalite operations in Jungle Mahal. Innumerable hit-and-run attacks and ambushes on the security forces were executed by the insurgents under his command. A joint operation was launched with the CRPF and the Cobra Battalion. After proper planning and preparation, the force moved in the jungles. The death of Kishanji was a massive blow to the Maoist movement in India. Communal caste and ethnic consciousness, along with rising competition for livelihood, unfolding new dangers for the society. In Assam, the communal tensions between the indigenous Bodo people and Bengali Muslims led to frequent incidents of violence. As a result, thousands of people were uprooted from their villages. CRPF was summoned to take charge of the situation. Starting off with providing them shelters, the force ensured continuous patrolling in the area. Regular peace committee meetings were organized in the CRPF camps.
समाधान नहीं अंत में आपको आपस में मेल मिलाप करके ही रहना.
CRPF averted the crisis by making a place in the hearts of both the communities. Gradually, with efforts of CRPF, the resentment began to shrink among the two communities. CRPF presence reinforced a sense of security and positivity that will continue to affect not only the present but also the coming generations.
All those kind of things now with a well-planned route, a well-planned this thing, and
The elections are one of the most crucial and significant events in a democratic country like India.
Now I will request you to give, whenever you send a transport plan.
The diversity of Indian elections owes to the requirement of an all-pervasive force like CRPF. The Jawans of CRPF are deployed all over the country to ensure a safe and secure ballot. CRPF also guards the important installations of central and state governments, especially in the insurgency-affected areas, which include secretariats, banks, prisons, etc. The elite force is also deployed for the security of the Parliament House. The entire country was a witness to the gallantry performance by the CRPF when the militants launched an attack on the Parliament House on the 13th of December 2001. Not only the attack was foiled, all the 5 heavily armed terrorists were gunned down by the alert CRPF personnel. The force is also deputed for the security of the most religious Hindu pilgrimage destination in India, Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine, Katra, Jammu. Every day while thousands of devotees march upward, CRPF offers them security in more ways than one. CRPF has also ensured an incident-free Amarnath Yatra for the past many years. With their training to face any challenges, CRPF Jawans have already lent a supporting hand to the victims of natural calamities. CRPF has credited itself a global distinction by efficiently handling peace missions under the auspices of the United Nations. Several Mahila RAF companies are deployed in UN peacekeeping missions in Liberia since 2007.
I am proud to be a member of the Central Reserve Police Force, and I am proud to be representing India and the force in the United Nations mission in Liberia.
An alert mind, along with stamina and endurance, are the best weapons for a soldier in combat. To impart the highest standards of physical, mental and professional skills, CRPF has various training institutions spread across the country. The CRPF Academy, established in Gurgaon, is a premier institute of CRPF for training of the directly appointed gazetted officers. The training helps in optimizing the potential of the trainees' mental and physical capabilities so as to make them competent and dependable commanders, leading their men in the right direction.
It takes nearly 1 year for us to convert a raw recruit by the Union Public Service Commission to the CRPF as Assistant Commandant, trainee into an Assistant Commandant Officer.
The current operational scenario for the CRPF envisages a high state of operational preparedness. Therefore, significant additions have been made to the force's inventory to enhance the operational capabilities of the force. Improvised explosive devices, IEDs, have become the weapons of choice for anti-national elements. With its increased popularity among Naxalites and terrorists, it is imperative to tackle this IED menace. The Institute of IED Management in Pune, a one-of-its-kind institute of CRPF, is spearheading the war against IEDs by providing training in counter-IED management. The Institute has an IED laboratory and a model room where different kinds of IED scenarios are displayed. Other than that, with continuous research on counter-IED measures and years of experience with IEDs, the Institute has developed an IED developing kit for the force personnel. Other than equipments, dogs are significantly indispensable in the task of IED detection. The Dog Training Institute at Taralu imparts the dogs with training for not only IED detection, but also for combat in the most adverse situations. These well-trained, athletic Belgian Shepherds have helped improve the anti-Maoist operations of CRPF.
I appreciate the wonderful contribution CRPF's officers and jawans played in this peaceful transformation. I congratulate all the CRPF personnel who, by their dedication and commitment, have brought name and pride to the force as it marches through its Diamond Jubilee years. I wish CRPF great success in all its endeavors.
Given this momentum that the force has gathered, I am sure that in future the CRPF will continue to do well and continue to be the main bulwark of India's internal security apparatus, which it is at present and will continue to be so. And there is a great future in this force, both for the personnel joining the force and those in the force.
Today, CRPF has the entire infrastructure which contributes towards the attainment of the security and safety of the country. CRPF are the peacekeepers of the nation. CRPF is India.